Why don't we start out telling us a little bit about how you first realized there might be some kind of delay with Peter?
Okay. When he was about three months old, he wasn't rolling over, and he wasn't developing, and he was real fussy, and he was crying. And with my two older boys, Pat and Tim, I knew that he should be at least starting to do some things, but he wasn't. And so I took him to the doctor, and I asked him if he thought he was delayed. And he had an evaluation done at St. Francis, and then they came up with the diagnosis that he was severely multiply delayed in all areas of his functions.
And then did services start at St. Francis?
Services started at St. Francis with PT, OT, and speech.
Okay.
We were there probably a year, and then we took him to Rainbows.
And you found out about Rainbows by?
My sister. She was employed at Rainbows at the time, and she said that it might be a good idea to check out their services. And so we did, and that's kind of how we got him into Rainbows.
Tell me a little bit about the first services that he had through Rainbows.
They came out to the home. It was the home-based services. They came out. There was a teacher, and then she would bring an OT out with her, and they would show me how to work with him at home, as far as stretching him and getting his legs to stretch. That really makes you got that out real fast. They showed me how to work with his motor skills, how to stretch his legs, because it was real important that he get stretched, and how to position him correctly, and feeding techniques. They helped me try to get him start feeding and what he could eat and how to get him used to that.
Okay. How old was Peter when he came to center-based services?
I think he was a year old. I think he was a year. I don't remember what age he was when we started that.
Okay. Well, I think maybe now we can move on a little bit to center-based and focus there, because we are going to show maybe some of the footage. We're going to talk on the phone with him and Carrie and Virginia in the classroom. And tell us about those first couple of months at center-based, if you can. I mean, some of the changes that you saw in Peter. And
he had a little difficult time being left. He was kind of fussy at first, but the more he got used to it, you know, he really did like going there. He was excited to be at the school. But there was a transition period there where it did take him a time to get used to it. But once he got used to it, he didn't have a problem with it at all. He just absolutely loved it while he was there. He had a good time, and then he had OT and PT every single day there, and speech, which really helped him a lot, that he had it every day.
And that's probably one of the benefits, and maybe you could say something like that. One of the best benefits about being in the center is that the therapy services are there.
One of the best benefits that Rainbows has to offer is that they have PTs and OTs and speech therapists on staff right there at the center, and they're right there working with the kids every day. Not once a week, once a month, but every day. And that children really do need that with disabilities. They need that every day.
Tell us a little bit about some of the activities that you saw center-based, or that the teachers told you about, or some of the fun things that they did as a classroom.
They had
field trips.
They went on field trips. They went to to Joyland for the Easter egg hunt, which was a lot of fun. They went to the pumpkin patch. They load all these kids up in the bus, and they each come home with a little pumpkin. Pete really enjoyed that. Enjoyed it a lot. They have circle time, and they have music, and they have a very nice playground at the Wellesley site that he likes being outside.
What can you say about some of the staff, maybe specifically the teacher? You don't need to mention her name, but just talk about teacher and say his teacher or something.
He really had some good teachers at Rainbows. Do you want me to say had or has?
That's fine.
Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
You might want to start it again.
Okay, he really had some good teachers at Rainbows. They really cared a lot about Pete and was very helpful to me if there was a problem, you know, that they could see that he wasn't, you know, doing there, that I could help him out with at home. And the paras were really caring people for him. They were really good with him. And he loved everybody at Rainbows.
Okay. How do you think going to the center kind of helped transition him here to Levy? Like if he hadn't ever gone to center base, you know, you might think of some of the difficulties that could have arisen when he came here. So maybe if you could think, if there was a way to say, it helped somehow prepare him, you know, for coming to kindergarten in the public schools or something like that, or however. And you could think a little bit too.
Well, I know that when he first went, his first few weeks, when he first started the center base at Rainbows, he had a tough time. And I was worried that he was going to have a tough time coming here. New people, you know, new building and riding the bus, and he did not have a problem at all. He just made the transition very smoothly. And I think going to the center every day at Rainbows really helped him a lot. You know, he got used to leaving me, and so he, you know, it really helped him a lot at Rainbows, the transition. He got used to being at school every day.
Maybe now we can move on to Levy and what he does here, and you could talk a little bit about some of the activities that he likes to do here. You might want to mention the swimming now, and maybe the computer or some,
okay,
and the kids and being
yeah.
with the kids.
Here at Levy, they have a swimming pool, and he absolutely loves to swim in the pool. He likes splashing everybody else. They have him in a seated walker in the classroom, and he can get into stuff there because he can move himself around there. They have a computer that he likes to play with, and feeding time is, I guess, a lot of fun for him too. He makes quite a mess.
And he's made some friends here? Does he talk about or communicate at all about some of the kids or respond when you say some of their names?
Well, when you ask him if he wants to go to school, he gets real excited. And you could mention some of the Jennifer's name and Valerie's, and I think he recognizes their names.
Great.
And Pam's name, his teacher, he recognizes her, but he recognizes the word school and the bus.
Is he using any kind of communication device?
No,
Okay.
Not yet. Not at home. Now here they may have him doing,
kind of test him
yeah,
on some.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think they start.
Yeah, they make him make choices.
Okay.
He gets to go to the library once a week, and they make him choose which book he wants. And I guess he's doing real well with that. You know, he's not reaching with both hands like he used to. He'll pick one book, and he can recognize his name. He recognizes his name on some paper, because he'll pick it out when they ask him to pick Peter's name out, and he'll do that.
Can you think of any other questions? I know Peter's only 5?
Yeah, he'll be 6 in May.
He'll be 6 in May. But as a mom, I know you have dreams for him. And maybe you could talk a little bit about dreams that mom, you don't need to talk so much about the future, but, or just kind of like, you know, we had dreams, we have dreams for Peter, you know, and you can say we, even though Ed's not here, and that would show you're connected. And if you feel like this might be a good place to mention the boys at home or your family life, that would be fine too.
I just hope in the future that he continues just to be the happy little boy that he is. I mean, that's my dream, that he is healthy.
Would you please return to your office, please? Thank you.
Try that one.
Oops.
Maybe
Well,
you could start by saying that's my dream.
My dream is that he continues to be happy and healthy and thrive at school and always, you know, be the lovable little boy that he is. that people, you know, he continues to entertain people around him, and that he enjoys being at school. You have to ask it.
Yeah,
Okay. Think we got enough?
I think we have enough.
It's Monday
That's
mornings.
plans.
This won't take very long.
Oh,
so
good.
you don't have to feel like you're going to be here forever. Okay. Why don't we start out by talking a little bit about Peter and maybe those first, 6 to 12 months and how you found out his diagnosis and some of those things.
Well, when we finally realized that Peter wasn't progressing like the other kids, you know, he was just not doing things. He has 2 older brothers, Pat and Tim, and they were doing things way before Pete ever started doing anything. In fact, Pete just wasn't doing anything at all. And Pat and Timmy they progressed very normally. You know, all the books and everything like that you read, they were following the charts. And Pete just didn't do anything. So we, excuse me, we just became very concerned. We took him to the doctor. He recognized right away that Pete was not developing normally. So he got us into a St. Francis-based physical therapy program and occupational therapy. And from that time, Pete has been in a program ever since.
Okay. And how did you guys first hear about Rainbows?
Well, we first heard about Rainbows through Nancy's sister. She had worked there, so we had some close ties to Rainbows. It was very fortunate. It seemed like we've always had kind of the right connections wherever we were at as far as getting Peter into the right programs.
And
My voice is
Peter-
getting shaky.
You want some water?
No, that's okay.
Okay. Take a couple deep breaths.
Yeah, really.
Peter started going center-based when he was almost 3. And maybe you could talk a little bit about how he was at the center. Now, Nancy did hit a little bit on how he didn't like it at first. He was real apprehensive, and that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you could talk a little bit about some of the things that they do there and a little bit about the staff interaction.
Mm-hmm. Okay. When Peter first entered center base, he was pretty apprehensive. He cried a lot. He was having a hard time getting into a routine, and it took just a short amount of time before he finally got adjusted. And we had all the support in the world from the teachers, the therapists, the Rainbow's staff, and Peter just became adjusted to it. It was just the daily routine setting, getting used to his new environment, and he became very comfortable with it. We noticed a lot of changes with Pete socially. That was probably the first thing that we noticed, is how Pete was becoming more and more friendly, more and more happy, laughing, and he was just, that was the very first change that we saw in him, was his emotions and his social skills.
One of the biggest benefits about coming to the center is that the therapists are there. And maybe if you could mention a little bit about that, how he was able to get physical therapy as he needed it, or as his doctor prescribed, or something like that, because he was there and it was convenient.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. We got Peter in the program at Rainbows, and we were quick to get him into programs to help his physical. Let me try this again. Let's see here. Got to kind of get another angle from this thing. Prompt me on.
Well, you could start, and I hate to put words in your mouth, anyway. You could say, like, one of the best things about Rainbows is that the therapists are there.
Okay.
And that might kind of give you.
Okay. Let's see what I can do here. One great thing that we had at Rainbows was therapy. We had physical therapists and occupational therapists. We had language and speech therapists there, and they were all there supporting Pete the whole time. Peter got into, we put him into prone standers. He got into stretching exercises from the physical therapist and stuff like that to help improve his motor skills and the like. And, you know, as this was going on, Pete was very slow to progress, just didn't do a whole lot of anything for a while. But after you look at things, you know, from the standpoint where he was 2 years ago to now, he's really shown an enormous amount of improvement and advancement. So early therapy was definitely a thing that was very important to his development.
What do you think, and where do you think Peter would be if there wasn't a Rainbows right now? I mean, he'd probably still be here. Where do you think development-wise?
Well, that's a good question. In fact, I had a pretty good canned answer for that. I was thinking about that, but I can't come up with it right now.
That's what happens when you try to come up with your
I know it. I know it. Well, because of the early intervention program that Rainbows had, Pete has developed, you know, probably much further than what Nancy and I dreamed that he would be. He's now starting to crawl. He's getting around. You know, in his little area, he can get around, move around wherever he wants to. And I really do believe that if we didn't have that early intervention at Rainbows, that Pete's skills would not be nearly where they are right now.
Very good. Very good. Okay, and now he's here at Levy, and he's been here since the fall, so he's done a lot. Tell us about some of the things that he's done here, or some of the changes you've seen since we came here, and you might want to mention swimming. We might be able to tie that in.
Okay. Let's see. Now we're here at Levy. You know, we graduated from Rainbows, and he's now into the public school system. And there are a lot of things here that Levy School will bring that Rainbows couldn't. He is swimming, and that is advancing his physical gains. He's let's see here. I kind of lost my track. Start the question over again.
Maybe think about some of his friends here. Nancy said he responds well sometimes when you mention some of their names, but you might want to talk too about some of that interaction he has here and
Well,
staff.
I could talk about the bus.
Oh, yeah.
And the close proximity.
Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty good. After Pete had graduated from Rainbows, we got involved into the community here at Levy, and the things that Levy has given to Pete are the new experiences such as riding the bus to school every day and swimming in the pool. He gets his therapy. They do stretching exercises and put him into some sort of a life jacket or whatever, and he gets around in the pool and boy, that's not coming around very good.
That's good. That was good. That was all very good.
Well,
Yeah, it was good.
it was good, but I just didn't finish it. Let's see. You're gonna really have to do some big time editing on this one. I did like the start of it. I just wish I could have come up with something to finish it. But right now, he's enjoying Levy very much. He's riding the bus to school every day, and that's a very new experience for him. When he gets here, he has some of the same classmates that he had at Rainbows, so that transitioning helped him, you know, get accustomed and acclimated here at Levy. He has swimming 2 or 3 times a week. He has physical therapy. He still has occupational therapy. He has a great teacher and staff of paraprofessionals, and they just enjoy Peter, and we just enjoy bringing him over here. It's a great experience for us. And one other added benefit about Levy is that it is on the west side, and it's very close to us, and that is something that will help us get involved more into the Levy programs because it is accessible to us.
Maybe you could say on that same line, kind of took it that way, how important it is, and I don't know whether we can even use this, but how important it is to have that kind of center in your neighborhood or on your side of town, or you might want to mention the time Peter got sick about a year ago, and Nancy had to get over to pick him up, or just how important it is from a family point of view and for that all to kind of be in your community.
Okay. The nice thing about Levy is that it is right here in the west side of Wichita. It is in our community. There were times at Rainbows where Peter happened to get sick. We were on the west side of town. Rainbows was on the east side, so there was quite some travel time to get to Rainbows to pick him up. And then what we really enjoy about Levy is that it's right here. It's in our community, and we're now a part of the community. It was something that we just couldn't really get involved in because of the distance factor with Rainbows. But if we can get, now I don't want to be preaching here. I don't want to try to, I was going to say, if we can't get a West Side Rainbows location, then things, for the other people would be great.
But I do remember you guys saying, too, when we interviewed you last time, that we always say our support groups are great and wonderful, but you guys couldn't really take advantage of those because it was such a drive.
Mm-hmm.
And it was difficult just to kind of maneuver that whole thing, I know.
Yeah.
So let's think of maybe a way to say, I believe if Rainbows was in every community, more families could be involved or something like that.
How about if I just say that?
Okay.
I believe that if Rainbows was in our community, closer proximity, that more families could get involved and enjoy the programs that Rainbow has for the families, such as the support groups and the like.
Okay, now we'll move on to the future, and that's always the hard part to talk about. But looking at Peter in that pool, I mean, he's an amazing little boy.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if you could talk a little bit about your dreams for Peter. You don't have to go far down the road, but just
Okay.
talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Let's see. We have dreams for Peter just like all parents have for their children. We hope that Peter will someday become self-supportive, that he will be able to, in a shorter term, be able to walk, be able to function in a community setting. And, being here at Levy and coming from the Rainbows background, we really do hope that Peter will be able to accomplish the dreams that we have for him.